10 years ago, Jiang Cheng was transported to the world of fighting against the sky by a sudden car accident. After being reborn, Jiang Cheng unexpectedly obtained the Confucian Sage system. The cultivation that others can only break through hard work is easily obtainable here in Jiang Cheng. In just 10 years, Jiang Cheng rose from being a dosher to the realm of a star Do saint, and even earned everyone the coveted Flame Award through his studies. At this point, a sentence is circulating in the upper reaches of the Duki continent. For thousands of years of practice, no one has heard of it, and a book travels throughout the world. A pot of wine, a scroll of books, and Jiang Cheng, dressed in white, stood proudly in the clouds, gazing into the distance, displaying the demeanor of a Confucian sage. Keywords of the novel. Man in the battle. Awakening at the beginning of the game, the Confucian Sage system has no pop-ups. Man in the battle. Awakening at the beginning of the game, the Confucian Sage system. TXT Complete Collection Download, Man in the Battle. Awakening at the beginning, the Confucian Sage system. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Collecting the Mount Purple Crystal Winged Lion King, new book for collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Collecting the Mount Purple Crystal Winged Lion King, new book for collection, Duki Continent, Warcraft Mountain Range. Several bronze sky thunder slashed through the silent sky like dragons and snakes, emitting bursts of explosive sounds. In the wet depths of the forest, dozens of strange-shaped monsters lay quietly in the mud, as if asleep, without making any sound. In front of them, a young man dressed in white stared blankly into the distance. The young man had an elegant face, an unparalleled appearance, clean skin, and a pair of clear pale blue eyes that emitted a soft and warm light. The young man's name is Jiang Cheng, and he is 21 years old this year. That's right, he's not a person from this world, but an unemployed wanderer who just graduated and sought a job. The next day, he was hit by a drunk driver when he left the house. When Jiang Cheng woke up again, he found himself in the world of one of the most popular national cartoons of today, Dopa Tsangqi. It is also an unexpected awakening of the Confucian Sage system. By reading books every day and completing the tasks assigned by the system, one can improve their cultivation and obtain corresponding combat skills and techniques. So, Jiang Cheng sincerely practiced and worked hard to study. In just 10 years, he was promoted from a dosher to a one-star dosheng realm, which is not a disgrace to the Confucian saint system. Jiang Cheng let out a deep breath of heat, with a slightly tired expression on his face. Why is it so difficult to find a mount? 3 days ago, the system prompted itself that in order to highlight the name of the Confucian sage, it was necessary to set a time limit to capture a warcraft of level 6 or above as a mount. If it weren't for the reward of the heavenly level fighting technique, he wouldn't want to come to this dirty and chaotic Warcraft mountain range. Opening the system board, all his information comes into view. Name: Jiang Cheng. Age: 21 years old. Realm: 1-star fighting saint. Fighting technique: 3000 illusions, intermediate level, god killing palm, advanced level, technique. Concentrated spirit decision, early heavenly stage, treasure. Countless capture a 6th level Warcraft within the specified time. With 13.10 remaining time, it is rare to become a dosheng at the age of 21. Even in the talented mainland of Zhongzhou, there is no precedent of breaking through the dosheng at the age of 20. Even Xiao Yan, the male protagonist of Dopa in the Sky, was only a mere Do Huang at the age of 21, and he almost reached the age of 30 to break through the dosheng. Jiang Cheng had one hand on his back and his right foot lightly stepped out. As the sole of his foot landed, he appeared thousands of kilometers away, and the waves generated by the trembling space spread in all directions, both mysterious and mysterious. Now there are only a dozen or so minutes left. Just find any 6th level Warcraft. At this moment, Jiang Cheng stopped, his eyebrows slightly moved, and his gaze shifted to the distance. He could feel a breath constantly approaching. Do Huang Warcraft. It was really delivered to your door. Just as the sound fell, Jiang Cheng quickly stepped into the air towards the distance. In a valley 100 miles away from Jiang Cheng, a huge monster is gnawing on the body of a fifth-order monster, constantly complaining about its sour meat. The head of a warcraft is a rather ferocious lion head, with blood-red and strange purple glowing animal pupils, and a huge mouth full of fangs. Above the lion's head, there is a fiery red spiral tip, with clusters of purple flames swirling around the tip. On the side of the huge lion's body, there are a pair of purple wings. As the purple wings flap, clusters of pale purple flames sweep out like flamethrowers, sweeping out like wildfire. The 4 sturdy claws are also wrapped in a layer of purple crystals, and each step will make the void tremble, making it difficult to imagine how powerful their power is. That's right, the object in front of me is the overlord of the eastern forest of the Warcraft Mountains, the 6th level Warcraft, and the purple crystal winged Lion King. At this moment, the purple crystal winged Lion King was cleaning up traitors, and the 5th level monster in front of him was one of them. It colluded with the other 6th level monsters to occupy the eastern mountain range, but was eventually discovered by it and brutally killed. At the same time, the purple crystal winged Lion King seemed to have sensed a hint of unease. As it lifted its head, at some point, a human stood on top of its head. The purple crystal winged Lion King thought he was dizzy and rubbed his eyes hard, but he still noticed the different powerful fighters that transformed his wings. Hiss! The purple crystal winged Lion King took a cold breath and said, "Dozong strong." Jiang Cheng smiled and said, "Not bad, it seems that you already have the strength of a 3-star Dohuang. Time is coming, and it's you." The purple crystal winged Lion King swallowed his saliva, leaving no time to tidy up the residue at the corner of his mouth. He knew very well that the human in front of him had already surpassed the Dohuang barrier and advanced to the Dozong realm. No wonder he did not inform him of his arrival. Jiang Cheng said elegantly, "From now on, you will become my mount. Follow me to practice together." The purple crystal winged Lion King timidly moved his massive body, retreating while staring at the movements of humans. At this point, it had already been scared out of its wits, with only one thought in its mind, which was to run. The farther you run, the better. It's best to escape the eastern mountains, as it has no resistance in front of the strong Dozong. Jiang Cheng did not take the lead in taking action, but instead put away the oil paper umbrella and slowly took out a folding fan from the ring, gently stirring it up. Upon seeing this, the purple crystal winged Lion King immediately ran away, launching like a startled bird. In the realm of Emperor Do, its speed was very fast, almost instantly breaking through the clouds and disappearing into the sky above the Warcraft Mountains. Just as the purple crystal winged Lion King was feeling proud, Jiang Cheng stepped on its head and smiled, "The speed is good, the hair is strong, and sitting up in the future should also be very comfortable. Go down." 2 simple words were uttered from Jiang Cheng's mouth, but when it reached the ears of the purple crystal winged Lion King, it sounded like a train whistle ringing in his ear. His massive body could not exert any force and fell vertically to the ground, splashing a patch of dust. Jiang Cheng calmly waved out his folding fan, sweeping away all the dust around him. The purple crystal winged Lion King's face turned red and he begged for mercy, "Please spare my life, Senior. It's not easy for me to cultivate. If I die, my lifelong efforts will turn into a thing of the past." Jiang Cheng whispered, "When did I mention taking your life? You just need to bind a soul contract with me." Upon hearing this, the purple crystal winged Lion King swallowed saliva and naturally knew what the soul contract was. It was a kind of contract that could make Warcraft willing to become a human lackey. After being set, no matter how strong or how advanced the opponent was, even a fighter could easily erase it. But if you don't agree, your life may wither away. Hundreds of years of effort also dissipate like a bubble. Jiang Cheng hesitated when he saw the purple crystal wing Lion King under him, but he didn't talk nonsense anymore. His fingers moved slightly, and a pill emitting a unique light flew in front of the purple crystal wing Lion King. This. The purple crystal winged lion king's pupils dilated for a moment and couldn't help but say, 7th grade. Transformation pill. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. First encounter of Yunyun, seeking collection, seeking recommendation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. First encounter of Yunyun, seeking collection, seeking recommendation. Is this really a 7th grade transformation pill? The purple crystal winged lion king swallowed his saliva, dreaming of obtaining a transformation pill that could completely break free from the beast's body, and thus possess the long lifespan of a Warcraft and the treasure of human cultivation talent, which is also a good thing that Warcraft dreams of. The humans in front of us are willing to take out such treasures, what a waste. At the same time, the purple crystal winged lion king's heart began to waver. Setting aside the facts, the Dozong powerhouse in front of him was also a good protector. In the future, he may be able to use him even if he breaks through his cultivation. After a moment of contemplation, the purple crystal winged lion king lifted his head and said, "Okay, I promise you that you will be my master from now on. I only hope you can give me one more shape transformation pill." Jiang Cheng smiled and said without hesitation, "No problem." Seeing the other party agree so cleanly and neatly, the purple crystal winged lion king also plans to do something that goes against the purpose of Warcraft. In order to enhance his strength, what is this humiliation called? As a silver-white light poured into the purple crystal winged lion king's spirit sea, a fan-shaped totem flickered faintly on its forehead, proving that it had completely become a human mount. Congratulations to the host for completing the system task. Capture a 6th level Warcraft within the specified time and reward the heavenly level junior fighting skill, Qingyun Sword Shadow. Next task time, 3 days later. Jiang Cheng slowly closed his eyes and felt the irritable energy in his body. The system also successfully learned this heavenly level fighting technique, which was what he valued. He didn't need to practice on his own and learned it directly, saving a lot of time. The purple crystal winged lion king respectfully said, "Master, I still have a cub at home. Can I bring it with me too?" Jiang Cheng recalled the plot of Breaking Through the Sky, which clearly stated that the purple crystal winged lion king had a third-order cub and was accompanied by a strange creature called the purple crystal source. The purple crystal winged lion king is a naturally gifted beast, and there is a very small chance that it will also produce this accompanying purple crystal source when producing small beasts. This companion amethyst source, due to its extremely long stay in the belly of the lion king, contains a magnificent amount of pure energy. This companion amethyst source is when the small beast grows to a 4th level Warcraft. Just devour it and you can directly turn it into a 5th level monster. It can also be considered one of the rare natural resources and treasures in Warcraft. Let's go. Jiang Cheng did not yet have the accompanying amethyst source in his hand, so he decided to take it off and keep it for collection. Under the guidance of the purple crystal winged lion king, the two of them arrived at its residence, which was extremely desolate and filled with the remains of Warcraft. It was obvious that this purple crystal winged lion king liked to devour high-level Warcraft to enhance his strength. After seeing humans, the 3rd-level monsters around them also rushed forward one after another, but their faces turned pale when frightened by the lion king's fierce shout. "Get lost!" Under the surging breath of the purple crystal winged lion king, this group of newly born spiritual beasts are also lying on the ground and constantly worshipping. At this moment, the purple crystal winged lion king, who had just reached the 3rd level, ran over anxiously after feeling his father's breath. But similarly, when it saw humans, it also let out bursts of low growls, not understanding why its father brought humans home. After a brief explanation from the purple crystal winged lion king, the temper of the little purple crystal winged lion king also eased slightly, but he still looked at him with caution. "Master, this is a dog, you have offended me a lot." Jiang Cheng just nodded slightly and strode towards the cave. The little purple crystal winged lion king had intended to ask his father, but was stopped by him. "Just be obedient." Entering the cave, what catches the eye is the companion amethyst source that all alchemists dream of. Looking at the sphere emitting a faint golden light, a smile appears. Jiang Cheng's fingers moved slightly, and the special stone that wrapped the accompanying amethyst source shattered in response. Although Yao Chen had said earlier that it was impossible to open the so-called accompanying amethyst source with brute force, it did not mean that Dou Sheng could not do it. As drops of pure energy flowed out from the shattered cracks, Jiang Cheng also took out a jade bottle without hesitation to fill it. In the future, when the little purple crystal winged Lion King broke through the 4th level warcraft, he would give it a bottle. The little amethyst-winged Lion King outside the cave suddenly widened its eyes. It was obvious that it had felt its companion's energy being shattered and resentful. However, under the pressure of its father, it could only kneel on the ground and roar in waves. After collecting the accompanying amethyst source, Jiang Cheng also took away a piece of amethyst spirit crystal that could only be shed by the purple crystal-winged Lion King for 20 years. In short, they would not be needed in the future, so it would be better to go deep into the mountains with himself for cultivation. Suddenly, Jiang Cheng's expression underwent a subtle change, as he felt a fighting emperor aura flying in this direction. Through the waves in the air, it could be concluded that the incoming person was a human fighting emperor. The purple crystal-winged Lion King raised his head high and gazed fiercely at the rushing woman. He frowned and flew into mid-air, shouting loudly. "Human woman, how dare you disturb my king's rest? How dare you?" The newcomer was a plump woman, dressed in a tight golden-purple robe with 3,000 green threads, tied up in the shape of a phoenix chirping, exuding an indescribable nobility. Her appearance was peaceful and beautiful. Behind her was a pair of blue wings, slightly unreal but giving off an irresistible sense of oppression. The woman was suspended in mid-air, wielding a sword with one hand, and said in a calm voice, "I have no ill intentions today. I just want to borrow the purple spirit crystal of the Lion King for a while." The purple crystal-winged Lion King snorted coldly, "It takes me 20 years for the purple crystal-winged Lion King to shed a small piece from his body. Isn't that what you said you wanted?" Yunyun's eyebrows furrowed slightly, and the purple crystal-winged Lion King in front of her was much stronger than she had imagined, especially the special aura on her body, which made her feel that there was still someone behind it to help. Since the purple crystal-winged Lion King became Jiang Cheng's mount, its aura has also changed. The originally dull and lifeless purple crystal stone has become particularly beautiful, as if it has evolved. Just as the purple crystal-winged Lion King was preparing to attack her, the master's voice came from behind it. "Stop it." The purple crystal-winged Lion King turned sideways, his eyes full of respect, and withdrew its paw that had just been lifted. Yunyun's gaze shifted to the young man in white beneath her, with a hint of surprise on his face. "Your Excellency, how did you appear here? You should know that this is the territory of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Even if it were for the sake of the purple spirit crystal, Yunyun wouldn't have taken the risk of being enemies with the 6th level warcraft. In Jiang, this purple crystal-winged Lion King is my mount. Miss, don't blame me. Mount." Yunyun paused in her heart and curiously looked at the polite Jiang Cheng. This person gave her a feeling of elegance, like a close friend. The previously slightly cold tone also became a bit gentle. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Exchange for Trade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Exchange for Trade. Under Yunyun's profound gaze, there were waves of confusion reflected. A human could actually live with Warcraft, and anyone would probably not believe it. But when she heard the other party call the purple crystal-winged Lion King a mount, Yunyun couldn't help but take a cold breath. It is unimaginable that a level 6 demon beast is willing to become a human mount. And since the other party can accept 6th level Warcraft, their strength is beyond doubt. They should have already broken through the Dohuang barrier and been promoted to Dozong. Yunyun pursed her seductive lips and landed steadily on the ground. She folded her wings behind her and bowed, saying, I have met Mr. Jiang Cheng, the leader of the Yunlan sect. Jiang Cheng smiled and said, Master Yun, you don't need to be polite. It was just him who acted recklessly. I hope you can forgive me. As a Confucian sage, he naturally has no airs, but is kind and amiable, giving people a feeling of family. As the two of them were talking, at the peak of the mountain not far away, a young man in plain clothes smacked his lips and couldn't help but ask. Teacher, who is this person? He suddenly intimidated the purple crystal-winged Lion King and the fighting emperor. The soul next to the young man also stroked his beard and murmured, this person doesn't have any strong aura on him. What? The young man widened his eyes in astonishment, is it an ordinary person? What do you think, stinky kid? If it were an ordinary person, do you think he could come here alive? Upon being told by Yao Lao, Xiao Yan couldn't help but nod. Indeed, if it were an ordinary person, it would probably have become the dinner of Warcraft long ago, let alone being able to drive deep into the eastern mountains. However, his heart also became curious. Could it be that he was also a powerful Dohuang or Dozong? Xiao Yan instinctively swallowed saliva, his heart turning pale with fear. If he were truly a Dozong powerhouse, it would be unbelievable. Jiang Cheng glanced at the distant mountains and rivers, nodded and smiled lightly, then his gaze shifted to Yunyun, the head of the Yunlan sect. I heard that Lord Yun wants purple spirit crystal. Yunyun pursed her lips and nodded, saying, yes sir, for some reason, I want to use purple spirit crystal to refine pills. I hope you can plead with me, and I hope the Lion King can give me purple spirit crystal. Jiang Cheng thought twice and said, I can give you the purple spirit crystal, but Lord Yun, what do you plan to exchange it for? Exchange. Yunyun thought for a moment and said, I am willing to come up with a high-level combat technique suitable for the Lion King's cultivation. If you are not satisfied, I can also add some pills for you. The purple crystal-winged Lion King snorted coldly, and for those things, it cared more about the human woman. Warcraft devouring high-level humans can also improve one's cultivation, but the owner has no intention of harming the Cloudlawn sect leader, and can only quench one's thirst with hope. Jiang Cheng touched his chin and pointed to the position of Yunyun's chest. Yunyun's pretty face turned slightly red, and her body unconsciously took a step back, vigilantly looking at Mr. Jiang Cheng in front of her, with one hand covering her chest. Mr. Jiang Cheng, I'm not that kind of person. Ah. Jiang Cheng was stunned for a moment, and immediately thought of something. He smiled and said. Master Yun misunderstood. What I meant was the pendant on your chest. Can you give it to me? Upon hearing this, Yunyun instinctively caressed the pendant on her chest, which was something her biological father had left for her before his death. Now that so many years have passed, the chest pendant still holds great significance for her. Yunyun lightly bit her lower lip and said, I'm sorry, Mr. Jiang Cheng. This is the only relic left by my biological father, which means a lot to me. I apologize for not being able to give it to you. Then there's nothing we can do. Jiang Cheng shrugged his shoulders. He likes to collect treasures from all over the world, and the pendant worn by Yunyun is also a rare treasure. It is made of high-quality spiritual crystals, crystal clear, and even emits a faint light under the reflection of moonlight at night. Very beautiful. Serving as a lighting fixture is also very good. Yunyun took a deep breath and said, since that's the case, let's disturb Mr. Jiang Cheng. She did not have the determination to take it this time, and Mr. Jiang Cheng was unwilling to exchange it, so she had no reason to forcibly seize it. Jiang Cheng patted the head of the purple crystal-winged Lion King and turned around to leave here. The purple crystal-winged Lion King roared softly, human woman, this is my territory, isn't it a place where you come and go whenever you want? Yunyun, who was about to leave, suddenly stopped and turned to look at the purple crystal-winged Lion King, who was threatening her. Instinctively, she summoned her weapon and prepared to engage in a life-and-death battle with the other party. Jiang Cheng spoke up to stop, we must not be impolite. The visitor is a guest, how can we be so ignorant of etiquette? The purple crystal-winged Lion King lowered his head deeply. Although Ru Sheng is just a name, its meaning is honest and elegant, humble and honest, knowledgeable and talented, ancient sages and sages, profound benevolence, and foresight. The name of the Confucian character means being honest, courteous, refined, humble, knowledgeable, and talented. The naming meaning of the holy character means ancient sages, profound benevolence, and foresight. If one only knows how to rob families and houses, they cannot be called a Confucian sage. Master Yun, I live in a dense forest in the northeast of the Warcraft Mountains. If there is a need in the future, please feel free to go, but we need to exchange things. Upon hearing these words, Yunyun also nodded and looked cautiously at the purple crystal-winged Lion King in front of her. After confirming that there was no threat, she summoned her wings and, as soon as her high heels touched the ground, turned around and left. Jiang Cheng smiled but remained silent, sitting on the body of the purple crystal-winged Lion King. Since he had become his own mount, he must also give it a try and see how it felt. The purple crystal-winged Lion King slowly flapped his wings behind him, and his massive body flew up with it. His powerful aura instantly made the high-level monsters around him bow down and bow down. It is obvious that the fear given to them by the purple crystal-winged Lion King is too strong. Even if they leave, they must bow and kneel before they can leave. The little purple crystal-winged Lion King naturally followed his father, but also began to curiously look at this unfamiliar human, not understanding why his father was so subservient. Xiao Yan also took the opportunity to hide, staring at Jiang Cheng's position with a vigilant expression. Even the teacher may not have the ability to confront such a level of strength. As the purple crystal-winged Lion King gradually drifted away, Xiao Yan ran out from behind the stone, panting heavily and exclaiming in shock, "It's too scary." The 6th-level demon beast, the purple crystal-winged Lion King, should be used as a mount. With just one sentence, let this powerful Do Huang leave this place. With this intimidation alone, it's enough to destroy a great Tuoshe. Well, this aura is indeed terrifying, but there is no killing intent. It seems that the other party is not the kind of person who is decisive in killing. Yao Chen also began to scrutinize Jiang Cheng Lai, and these strong individuals should try to make friends with him, otherwise they may become a threat in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Erotic Poison Body, Little Dr. Immortal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Erotic Poison Body, Little Dr. Immortal. Warcraft Mountain Range, Northeast China. The environment here is beautiful, with birds singing and flowers fragrant. Various trees are planted around it, among which the most eye-catching is the neatly arranged peach blossom trees, each of which is covered with red fruits. In the bamboo pavilion of Huaishui, playful fish jump out of the water, splashing beautiful water droplets. The faint floral fragrance is refreshing just by taking a deep breath. The purple crystal-winged Lion King was stunned and said, "It's such a beautiful place. I didn't expect there to be such wonders in the northeast region." The little purple crystal-winged Lion King also quite likes this place, which is much better than the dilapidated cave. This place was planted by me 10 years ago, and peaches are also used as raw materials for brewing. The resulting wine has a rich and fragrant taste, leaving a lasting aftertaste. Jiang Cheng nodded and smiled. With a slight movement of his fingers, a jar of peach blossom wine, which had been brewed for 10 years, flew out of the cellar. He then personally poured a glass and took a sip. Tasting mellow and delicious. From now on, you will live here. Jiang Cheng sat on a rocking chair, drinking and reading, feeling very happy. The purple crystal-winged Lion King pulled out the previous 7th grade transformation pill and without a doubt swallowed it, feeling a stream of heat flowing back and forth in its meridians. With a purple light flickering, the body of the purple-winged Lion King disappeared and was replaced by a burly middle-aged man. The man looked at his hands and burst out laughing, "I can finally transform. Jiang Cheng glanced at the position of the purple crystal winged lion king and then continued to look at the book in his hand. The statement that there is a golden house in the book is true at all. Every time he reads a book, Jiang Cheng's experience points in front of him will increase. After reaching 100, he can break through the 2-star Doshan. 2 out of 100 however, after breaking through the Saint Do, the cultivation speed significantly slowed down, making it more difficult than before. Fortunately, with the help of the system, given enough time, he can still break through the realm of Emperor Do. It is rumored that Emperor Do can tear apart space with his bare hands and soar into the vast world. I don't know what kind of scenery there will be. It's wonderful. Jiang Cheng waved the folding fan in his hand, and an invisible wave of air rolled up all the petals that fell on the ground. The petals rotated back and forth in the sky, exploding in the air, as beautiful and moving as fireworks in full bloom. Using a fan as a sword, elegance never goes out of style. In the next 2 days, Jiang Cheng will be studying the knowledge in the book to improve his strength and practice the heavenly level fighting technique of Qingyun sword shadow. Undoubtedly, it is a heavenly level combat skill that can split the Green Mountain in half with just one strike. If he were to strike with all his might, the entire eastern part of the Warcraft mountain range would undergo earth-shattering changes, and even plate rotation is not impossible. Master, you are really strong. The purple crystal winged lion king, who had turned into a human, stared at the broken Green Mountain and swallowed saliva. This was the first time he had seen a human being able to easily cut the Green Mountain in half. And it should be so smooth and delicate, as if it is naturally formed. You can also work hard to cultivate in the future. Jiang Cheng smiled and patted the shoulder of the purple crystal winged lion king. With his bloodline, it shouldn't be a problem to break through the Do Zun in the future. At this moment, Jiang Cheng seemed to feel something and turned to look at the woman running at the foot of the mountain. Jiang Cheng squinted his eyes. The woman being chased emitted a strange aura, and the surrounding flowers and plants withered at a visible speed to the naked eye. Is it a poison of misfortune? As a staunch fan of Do Petsangqiong, Jiang Cheng naturally knows what the Yanran poison body is. As a rare physical condition, the Yanran poison body has only been recorded by a few people in the Duki continent. Moreover, these people are very special and must consume highly toxic substances to suppress their own toxins. With the improvement of their strength, highly toxic substances have also become a rare and indispensable existence. Most people who possess the poisonous body of misfortune are eroded by the toxins in their own bodies, and ultimately suffer from the pain of the heart being corrupted by countless toxins, leading to their death in the afterlife. Never mind, since we've met, let me give you a hand. Jiang Cheng shook his head, and as the light and shadow flickered, he had already disappeared into place. In the dense forest at the foot of the mountain, a girl wearing a light white dress is evading the pursuit of mercenaries behind her. Although the girl's appearance may not be considered stunning, she can still be said to be a rare beauty. With a calm smile on her cheeks, she exudes a fresh and ethereal aura, which instantly enhances the woman's charm. Brothers, catch him, the captain said. As long as we catch her, we will reward our brothers as wives. That's all I'm waiting for. The mercenaries of the Wolf Head Mercenary Corps laughed heartily, with a lewd expression on their faces. If they caught the little Dr. Immortal, they would definitely ask her to taste the dangers of society. The little medical immortal's face turned pale and powerless, as he had not eaten the poisonous plants. The poisonous body in his body had already begun to surge. If this continued, even if he did not die, it would still harm the innocent. She is truly a touching girl. Even so, I'm worried about those innocent people. At this moment, a fighter from the Wolf Head Mercenary Regiment quickly rushed forward, with a machete in his hand attacking the lower abdomen of the little Dr. Immortal. If he were to be struck, the little Dr. Immortal would never be able to walk in his lifetime. I didn't expect you to be so cruel, to do lewd things to a little girl. Just as the sound fell, the previous wolf-headed mercenary group fighter flew out like a shell, hitting the ground heavily and splashing a patch of dust. The members of the Wolf-Head Mercenary Corps were stunned at the same time, some not believing that something had just happened. The Tuoshe was slapped and flew out. The little Dr. Immortal also fixed his gaze on the newcomer and quickly bowed, "Thank you very much for saving my life, Senior. I am extremely grateful." Jiang Cheng said calmly, "You don't need to kill all the girls. You still have time to leave now." "Hey, what are you talking about? We are members of the Wolf-Head Mercenary Corps, and you dare to attack us. Are you tired of living? Kneel down on the ground and kowtow to apologize, otherwise, you'll just wait for the relentless revenge of the Wolf-Head Mercenary Corps." Jiang Cheng frowned and said, "You know, the thing I hate the most in my life is threatening me. You be pussy. Blood splatters." The mercenary who had previously spoken wildly immediately covered his neck, widened his eyes, and retreated backwards in confusion. However, the depth of the wound was not something he could withstand with his hands. He fell heavily to the ground, struggled for a long time, and then remained motionless. The other members of the wolf-headed mercenary group were also stunned by the scene before them, only to realize that the person in front of them was not something they could resist. They quickly knelt on the ground, wildly kowtowing their heads. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 7-Colored Poison Classic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 7-Colored Poison Classic. We were wrong. Please spare our lives, Senior. I beg you. The members of the wolf-headed mercenary corps were already so scared that they wet their pants, and even cried out, all fearing the intimidating power of the newcomers. Jiang Cheng's fingers twitched slightly, and the bodies of all the members of the wolf-headed mercenary group in front of him instantly burst. The splattering of flesh added a touch of blood to this place. Sorry, I either don't kill this person or kill them all. Jiang Cheng insists that you don't provoke me, and I don't provoke your inner cultivation. However, the members of the wolf-head mercenary corps are making wild remarks and even want to take action against themselves. It's better to directly kill them to avoid causing trouble for themselves. Otherwise, after these guys go back, they will definitely tell the leader of the wolf-head mercenary corps about this matter and send troops to surround themselves. Although Jiang Cheng is not afraid of this so-called wolf-headed mercenary group, if this incident were to destroy the forest here, it would not be worth the loss. Shao Yixian was also frightened by this sudden scene and her face turned pale. She had never killed anyone before, but now seeing so many people dying in front of her, she also felt a feeling of retching and vomiting for a moment. Jiang Cheng took out a poison pill and handed it over. Here, after eating it, you can suppress the calamity poison in your body. Senior. You know. The little medical fairy trembled and took the poison pill handed over with a strange expression. Only she knew about it, not even the people in the 10,000 medicine studio. However, in front of this senior, she had no reservations. Jiang Cheng grabbed the arm of Shao Yixian, tore open the void with his bare hands, and disappeared into place under her frightened gaze. When he reappeared, he had already arrived at the position of Taolin. Shao Yixian was also stunned by the scene before her. She had never noticed such a beautiful place before. Is this still the Warcraft mountain range she knows? Master, who is this girl? Upon hearing the commotion, the purple crystal-winged Lion King strode over with a fierce and frightened expression. The little Dr. Immortal hid behind Jiang Cheng, secretly revealing a pair of eyes and staring at the big man back and forth. My name is Xiao Yixian. Hello. Little Dr. Immortal. The purple crystal-winged Lion King shrugged. For him, he didn't even bother to negotiate with anyone except for some strong ones. My name is Jiang Cheng, his name is. Jiang Cheng suddenly remembered that he had not yet named the purple crystal-winged Lion King. In the future, you can call it Xiaohua, it's easy and effortless. Ah. The purple crystal-winged Lion King was stunned for a moment. Wasn't this a bit too abrupt? But inside, I cannot refuse. Who said this is the name given by the owner? Senior. Thank you for saving me and giving me the poison pill. I am extremely grateful. No problem, come here when you recover from your injury. Jiang Cheng sat on the chair without any concern and took a sip of hot tea. Although the little Dr. Immortal had the ability to cultivate, once the non-poison body erupted, it was feared that any creature within a radius of 10 miles would die. This is the result of 10 years of hard work in cultivation, and if it is destroyed, he may have to cry. Xiao Yixian knelt on the ground with a slightly choked voice. Senior, I was chased by the wolf-head mercenary because I had the opportunity. Wan Yaozhai also kept a safe distance from me. I pleaded with the senior to take me in. I know medical skills. There's no shortage of doctors here, let's go. Jiang Cheng waved his hand again. The purple crystal-winged Lion King smacked his lips as if he knew something. He grabbed the arm of the little Dr. Immortal and came to the back of the tree, whispering a reminder. The host likes girls with sincerity, just take out some precious things. I believe you don't want to see your wolf-headed mercenary group chasing after you all the time. Xiao Yixian pursed her lips. She came to the mountain to pick medicinal herbs, but she didn't expect to encounter members of the wolf-headed mercenary corps here. If she left now, she would definitely face pursuit and no one would be able to save her next time. Xiao Yan didn't know where to go, so Wan Yaozhai naturally wouldn't offend the wolf-head mercenary corps because of himself. Now, I can only rely on these two predecessors. Xiao Yixian took out his most precious thing and presented it with both hands. Senior, this is a secret book that I accidentally obtained, called the Seven-Colored Poison Classic. If Senior can let me live here, this secret book will be yours. Although the Seven-Colored Poison Classic does not belong to martial arts or combat techniques, it is a rare treasure. The value of the Seven-Colored Poison Classic varies among different people. In the hands of ordinary people, the value of the Seven-Colored Poison Classic is very low, even inferior to a Xuanjia martial arts/combat technique. In the hands of those who possess the body of calamity and poison, the Seven-Colored Poison Classic is like a divine aid. Through the strengthening of the toxin's constitution, it has obtained the Poison Edition Encyclopedia, which is simply amazing. Jiang Cheng took the Seven-Colored Poison Classic he handed over and also became interested. Although the level of this Seven-Colored Poison Classic is not high, it is still something worth learning. Not bad, it's quite interesting. There are various herbs and pills recorded above, but they are all filled with highly toxic substances, which is something worth studying. Senior, have you agreed? The little doctor asked with great joy in his heart. When did you say you agreed? The little medical immortal's expression paused. This senior doesn't want to kill people and steal goods, does he? Killing people and buying more goods in the Duki continent has long been a common occurrence, and it has been tried and tested repeatedly. If the other party takes action, I'm afraid I can't even resist a finger. Jiang Cheng turned his face and said, however, as a person, I have always enjoyed studying these unique techniques or treasures. Your Seven-Colored Poison Classic is very beautiful. In the future, you can live here with Xiaohua. But there are 3 rules. Firstly, do not touch anything here. Secondly, you are not allowed to leave without my permission. Thirdly, whatever I ask you to eat, you can eat without any complaints. If you agree, you can stay. If you don't agree, you can leave. Jiang Cheng continued to read the book without lifting his head, as if he didn't care at all. Xiao Yixian nodded and agreed directly. This senior has strong strength, and if you wanted to kill her, you wouldn't have saved yourself just now. Thank you, senior. The purple crystal-winged Lion King shrugged and told the little Dr. Immortal everything here, including his own son, the little purple crystal-winged Lion King. After learning that Uncle Xiaohua was the demon beast purple crystal-winged Lion King, Xiao Yixian was also shocked and stunned. Unexpectedly, the uncle in front of him was a 6th-level demon beast that killed people without spitting out their bones. The reputation of the purple crystal winged lion king is considered a noun in the entire Gamma Empire, and even the top 10 powerhouses dare not come to the Warcraft Mountains to challenge such a level of power. Moreover, in the entire Eastern Mountain Range, the purple crystal winged lion king ranks first, and no one dares to claim second place. However, at this time, after becoming Jiang Cheng's mount, the purple crystal winged lion king also underwent a significant change in personality, from his original bloodthirsty nature to a somewhat refined one. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Peach blossoms falling in the wind across the sky, sword-slaying Qingyun Mountain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Peach blossoms falling in the wind across the sky, sword-slaying Qingyun Mountain. Jiang Cheng is also quite interested in this 7-colored poison classic. He is getting tired of reading other books, and now for a change of taste, it's quite good. At sunset and dusk, the distant mountains are like dais. Jiang Cheng sat in the bamboo pavilion of the Huai River, admiring the interesting stories brought by books. In his past life, he didn't actually enjoy reading books, but in this world, he awakened to the Confucian Sage system and gradually developed an interest. Clear breeze and bright moon, meeting by chance, haha, fun. 2 small boats were tied to the lake, gently swaying in the shimmering orange waves. Under the refraction of moonlight, a bright moon suddenly emerged. The little Dr. Immortal has returned to his room to rest, leaving only the purple crystal winged lion king and his son lying on the ground eating the newly captured 3rd Order Warcraft. They are also Warcraft no matter what, and still have a great interest in blood eating. The fighting spirit of cultivation here is several times higher than that of the outside world, and it is also twice the result with half the effort. In just a few days, the purple crystal winged lion king broke through to the 4-star Dohuang. At this speed, it is only a matter of time to break through the Dozong realm. Jiang Cheng shrugged his shoulders, put down the 7-colored poison scripture in his hand, stood up, and smiled, saying, Master Yun, you still came. With a flash of light and shadow, Yunyun, the leader of the Yunlan clan, suddenly stood here. Beautiful scenery paired with beautiful people. Amazing. Yunyun took a deep breath. It was obvious that she had been thinking about this matter for the past few days. In order for Yanran to successfully win for 3 years, she had put in too much effort as a teacher. Now that she has finally found a way to enhance Yanran's strength, Yunyun naturally doesn't want to miss it. If Yanran fails because of this, she will blame herself for a lifetime. Yunyun carefully took off the pendant from her neck and, under reluctant gaze, slowly handed it to Jiang Cheng. Sir, this is the pendant you want. Where is the purple spirit crystal? Jiang Cheng took the pendant he handed over, which still had a hint of Yunyun's body temperature and a faint fragrance on it. You can smell this green and astringent taste without getting close. Well, it's what I want. Jiang Cheng nodded, flipped his right hand, and a purple spirit crystal appeared in his palm. Master Yun, this is the purple spirit crystal of the purple crystal wing lion king. Take it and it will be. Yunyun took the purple spirit crystal with ease. After confirming its authenticity, she also bowed and was about to leave when she was stopped by Jiang Cheng. Yunyun asked inexplicably, Sir, do you have anything else to do? Jiang Cheng stood with his hands down, gazing at the shimmering lake surface, and smiled. The scenery tonight is picturesque. If you don't drink a pot of fine wine, wouldn't it be a waste of this wonderful time? But I don't know how to drink, I just pour out as soon as I drink. It's okay, act in moderation. Jiang Cheng never takes the initiative to drink with others. It would be a pity if Mei Jing didn't have a big drink now. Take out 2 special porcelain cups casually, place them on the stone table, and then take out a pot of wine. After filling it up, drink it all in one gulp. Yunyun stared at the clear peach blossom wine in her glass, hesitating. However, when she saw Mr. Jiang Cheng drinking one glass after another, if she didn't drink it, wouldn't she have refuted Mr. Jiang Cheng's face? But when she drank it, she felt a hot and unbearable sensation all over her body. Her face turned red and her ears turned red as she tightly grasped the purple spirit crystal in her hand. An inexplicable force filled her limbs and bones, and it felt like she was doing something like that, making her moan uncontrollably. Yunyun shyly covered her mouth and immediately sat cross-legged on the ground, starting to use her internal fighting energy. Jiang Cheng smiled calmly and said, "Hee, I forgot to tell you. Peach blossom wine contains my fighting spirit. With your cultivation of fighting for the emperor, you should also benefit greatly. Peach blossoms fall in the wind all over the sky, and with one sword, Qingyun mountain is flattened." Half an hour later, Yunyun slightly raised her eyebrows, and a mouthful of pink turbid qi spewed out from her cherry lips. Her cultivation had also broken through to the realm of the 4-star fighting emperor. Yunyun looked at her hands and felt quite touched. She didn't expect that just a glass of wine would break through her stagnant cultivation for several months. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Wake up. Jiang Cheng said with one hand behind his back, "I have only a few close friends in my life. If you can drink and sing with me today, you can also be considered as my only friend. If you have anything to do in the future, you can come to me. I will definitely not refuse." "Thank you very much, sir." Yunyun bowed and had a unique perspective on the person in front of her. Why did these strong men appear in the Warcraft Mountains? Is there something wrong? You don't need to be polite. Random mission begins. Go to the Shao family in Wutan City and obtain the key to open the cave of the Tuoshe ancient emperor. The duration is 3 days, and you will receive a reward of 10 experience points. At this moment, a mechanical sound echoed in Jiang Cheng's mind. Upon hearing the system's prompts, Jiang Cheng also became interested. Unexpectedly, this time he went to the family of the male protagonist Shao Yan. The Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade, which he knows, is the key to unlocking the secret realm of the Do Emperor. If he obtains it, the time to break through the Do Emperor will also be much shorter. Jiang Cheng is naturally open to all who come, and anything that can enhance his strength cannot be missed. "Master Yun." "Ah." Yunyun responded with a panicked expression, "What's wrong?" "I will go to the Shao family in Wutan City someday. Do you have time to come with me?" "The Shao family in Wutan City?" Yunyun murmured, "Isn't that the family where Nalan Yanran withdrew?" She also asked curiously, "Why are you going to Wutan City?" "For something." "What is it?" "Well, you'll know when you go." Jiang Cheng shrugged his shoulders. He didn't care about the life and death of the Shao family, but the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade couldn't fall into the hands of others, otherwise it would be a troublesome matter in the future. Yunyun also nodded and agreed. Anyway, Wutan City is very close to Yunlan Zone. After the matter is completed, she can also return to Yunlan Zone. The two of them drank alcohol on the moon, chatting freely about life and having endless joy. "I didn't sleep all night." The next morning, the golden rooster crowed. Jiang Cheng squatted on the ground, reached out his hands, picked up the cold lake water, and after briefly cleaning his cheeks, he prepared to take Yunyun to the Shao family in Wutan City. Because it was daytime, the purple crystal winged lion king was too large in size, and the little medical immortal was still at home and needed protection. Therefore, he was asked to stay and take care of the little purple crystal winged lion king and the little medical immortal. Due to drinking alcohol, Yunyun's cheeks were particularly white and tender, with a faint blush on her skin. It was obvious that yesterday was also the first time she had been drinking so happily for fun. "Master Yun, let's go." Yunyun nodded and said, "Sir, in the future, you should still call me by my name. Master Yun always feels a bit strange in your mouth." "Then I'll call you a girl, right?" Yunyun's pretty face revealed a hint of crimson, a title she had never used before. Now, from Mr. Jiang Cheng's mouth, there was a different feeling. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Tuoshe Ancient Emperor Jade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Tuoshe Ancient Emperor Jade Wutan City, Shao Family. Since the fall of Galibius, their families' neighborhoods have all fallen to the Shao and Oba families, and from then on, there have only been two major families in the city of Yunyun. The Shao family is also thriving, but sometimes they are still threatened by members of the Oba family. However, as the head of the Shao family, Shao Zhan always takes action to intimidate them. Sooner, how long do you plan to stay when you come back this time? The speaker was a middle-aged man dressed in a luxurious gray shirt, with a hint of majesty as he walked around, and a pair of thick eyebrows added a touch of pride to his face. This person is the head of the Shao family, Shao Zhan, the biological father of Shao Yan. Standing in front of him was a girl in a purple dress, with a cold and indifferent temperament, like a worldly green lotus flower. The slender waist is like a willow leaf, which can be easily grasped. 3,000 green threads are casually tied with a piece of light purple satin ribbon, flowing smoothly along the moving curve to the waist. There are two small green bells hanging on the white wrist, like the people in the painting. Uncle Shao, why did you come? Shao Suner said gently, I was planning to come back and see if brother Shao Yan has come back. Speaking of Shao Yan, Shao Zhan shook his head helplessly and said, Yan heir has not heard from him for a year. It is said that he has gone to the Warcraft mountain range. But I don't know his specific situation either. Speaking of which, Shao Zhan sighed. Among his sons, the one he couldn't bear to worry about the most was Shao Yan. He had experienced ups and downs at a young age, and because Nalan Yanran came to divorce, he made a 3-year agreement. Yan heir has carried too much on her shoulders. And as a father, I can't help him with anything. Shao Suner comforted and said, Uncle Shao, don't worry, brother Shao Yan will be fine. I believe him. I hope so. Shao Zhan responded with a strange expression. Just as he was about to say something more, he saw a disciple from his clan rushing in. Clan leader. It's not good, the people of Yunlan's sect are here again. As soon as these words were spoken, Shao Zhan couldn't help but take a cold breath. These guys were not finished. They had just made a 3-year agreement, but now they are knocking on their door again. Do you really think the Shao family is a soft persimmon? Shao Suner also frowned slightly and asked subconsciously, is there anyone who came? One man and one woman, the man is handsome, the woman is beautiful, and the other person claims to be the head of the Yunlan clan, Yunyun. When he heard the words, Yunyun, Shao Zhan's body was also shocked. He didn't expect that Yunyun, the top 10 powerhouse of the Gama Empire and the leader of the Yunlan sect, would come to the Shao family. Do they want to unilaterally tear up the agreement? While Shao Zhan was at a loss, Shao Suner comforted him, Uncle Shao, it's okay. Let's go take a look. Suner is here. Shao Zhan also nodded. Indeed, with this girl around, even the head of Yunlan's sect, Yunyun, dared not underestimate her. Inside the main hall of the Shao family, Yunyun sat elegantly on the chair, while Jiang Cheng was still drinking tea and reading. Overall, he looked a bit like a bookworm, but for Jiang Cheng, this was a way to enhance his strength. Not long after, Shao Zhan, Shao Suner, and several elders of the Shao family rushed over. When they saw Yunyun, the leader of Yunlan's sect, they also bowed and said, I have seen Yun sect leader. I wonder why Yun sect leader came to the Shao family. Yunyun moved her eyebrows slightly, stood up, made a gesture with her left hand, and said elegantly, it's this gentleman who wants to find you, the Shao family. I'm just here to accompany you. Oh. Shao Zhan looked calm and composed, as long as it wasn't for Yunlan sect causing trouble, everything else was just a small matter. I don't know what happened to this little brother. I want something from the Shao family, Jiang Cheng responded softly. What is it? The elders looked at each other with deep eyes. The Shao family was just a destitute family, and the only one they could wield was the Xuanjie fighting technique, which has been passed down through generations. It's probably difficult to catch a glimpse of such things. Xiao Zhan was also a bit confused and instinctively asked, "This little brother, what is what you're talking about?" Jade pendant. As soon as these words were spoken, Xiao Suner, who was standing behind Xiao Zhan, had a noticeable change in expression. She suddenly turned around and stared at Jiang Cheng, who was sitting in a chair and didn't pay much attention. Jade pendant. I don't know. The jade pendant of the Xiao family is only a piece of jade that the clan leader deserves. Jiang Cheng gently put down the book in his hand and turned his face to look at Xiao Suner's nervous expression. Looking at this girl up close, she was really beautiful. No wonder Xiao Yan loved her so much. Xiao Zhan swallowed his saliva and pretended to be deaf and mute, saying, "Little brother, what do you mean by this sentence? We don't have that jade pendant. Did you make a mistake?" Seeing the other party not admitting, Jiang Cheng quickly walked up to Xiao Zhan and gently placed his right hand on his forehead. At this moment, chaotic memories flooded into the system like a tide, and everything that Xiao Zhan had experienced for decades kept emerging like a movie. In the face of absolute strength, hiding is useless. After a simple exploration, the location of the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade has been found. Dang dang dang, Xiao Zhan took a few steps back, his eyes full of panic. Just now, he felt as if his soul was under control, unable to resist. Jiang Cheng waved his right hand and a special box embedded in the stone quickly flew out. The box was very exquisite, with dragon and phoenix totems carved around it, emitting a faint ancient atmosphere inside. Xiao Zhan couldn't sit still anymore. He reached out and snatched the box containing the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade, tightly holding it in his arms. He whispered, "Senior, absolutely not." Jiang Cheng, holding on to the principle of not creating any killing business, did not take action against Xiao Zhan. Instead, he spoke calmly and said, "Captain Xiao, keeping this kind of thing will ultimately be a disaster. If it stays with you, it will cause the downfall of the Xiao family. It's ridiculous." Xiao Suner walked up and asked 3 times in a row, "How could the Xiao family be destroyed? Who are you, and what is your relationship with those forces? How would you know about the jade pieces of the Xiao family? You don't have the right to know my identity yet. If your father comes, maybe you can only know when your elders in the clan come. You're not qualified yet." Jiang Cheng took out 2 martial arts books and placed them steadily on the table. "Captain Xiao, Jiang Cheng doesn't like to fight or kill. He loves doing business the most. I really like the jade pieces of the Xiao family. Here are 2 local low-level martial arts books that are very suitable for your Xiao family." At the same time as seeing the low-level fighting skills of the 2 locals, several elders of the Xiao family's eyes were fixed. They did not expect the young man in front of them to be so generous in their actions, even the low-level fighting skills could be performed. How extravagant it is. Uncle Xiao, no, this jade piece has extraordinary significance and is far from comparable to martial arts. If Uncle Xiao trusts me, it can also be placed with me. Xiao Zhan was caught in a dilemma, unsure of how to solve the problem. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. One Finger Flying 8-Star Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. One Finger Flying 8-Star Emperor. Xiao Zhan clenched the wooden box in his hand and began to waver in his heart. His father, the former head of the Xiao family, once told him not to take out the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade at any time. Because this jade piece is of great significance, even a slight mistake can cause the downfall of the Xiao family. Over the years, as long as the matter of the jade tablet was known only to oneself, even the 2 elders were unaware of the reason behind it. But now that so many years have passed, I have already reached the age of 60 and still have a few years to live. These 2 local level martial arts should be very suitable for Yanran. With them, I believe the winning rate of Yenner's 3-year contract will greatly increase. Xiao Suner was so anxious that she was almost crying. She came back in a hurry because she didn't even wear the earth-level technique, otherwise she would have used the technique to buy the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade. Jiang Cheng saw that Xiao Zhan's heart had begun to waver. As he waved his embroidered robe, a 6th-grade pill appeared out of thin air. This pill is called Linglong Breaking Barrier Pill, a 6th-grade advanced pill. The strong medicinal fragrance enveloped the entire room as the wooden box opened, and upon smelling it, it was refreshing. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole room was in an uproar. Even the 2 elders of the Xiao family couldn't help but observe closely. After confirming that it was indeed a 6th-grade pill, they couldn't help but take a cold breath. This guy was able to produce a 6th-grade pill, which is shocking. Yunyun's expression was contented, and she murmured in her heart, I didn't expect it to really be the 6th-grade Linglong barrier breaking pill. After eating it, everyone below Doling can enhance their 3-star strength. It's not an exaggeration to say it's a 7th-grade pill. The only one in the entire Gama Empire who could refine a 6th-grade pill was Dan Wang Guhi, but he was also powerless to produce the 6th-grade Linglong breaking barrier pill. Because those who want to refine things of this level must possess extraordinary things from heaven and earth, such as extraordinary fires. Xiao Zhan's heart was racing and he was swallowing saliva. Yen Er should really need this 6th-grade Linglong barrier breaking pill, right? How about it? Jiang Cheng chuckled softly, the 6th-grade Linglong barrier breaking pill, combined with 2 local low-level fighting skills, I believe you can exchange it for the Jade tablet in your hand. Uncle Xiao, you can't do it. Xiao Suner exclaimed urgently, Jade tablets are worth a lot. They are far more valuable than 2 martial arts books and the 6th-grade Linglong breaking pill. If Uncle Xiao believes me, he will give the Jade tablets to Suner, and Suner will ask the clan leader to give the Xiao family 10 local-level martial arts. The 2 elders looked at each other and sneered, Suner, Fengde is not afraid of flashing his tongue. If you can take it out now, we will definitely believe you. But if you can't take it out, we can only exchange it. There are not many people in the entire Gama Empire who can cultivate the earth-level fighting technique. Moreover, once the 6th-grade Linglong barrier breaking pill is swallowed, the clan leader can break through the fighting spirit in the shortest possible time. In the future, our Xiao family can also be promoted to the imperial capital. The Xiao family has been living in this small city of Yunyun for several years, and it takes more than a day or 2 to return to the imperial capital. The elder also followed closely behind and said, Clan leader, we have all witnessed the ups and downs of the Xiao family. Now, the opportunity to break through the spirit struggle is in front of us. We cannot miss such a good opportunity. Xiao Zhan also nodded and uncontrollably handed over the box containing the Tuoshe ancient emperor Jade with his right hand. However, at this moment, a black smoke filled the main hall of the Xiao family, and in a moment, the shadow surged upwards, finally solidifying into a humanoid shape. The figure was enveloped in a pitch-black robe, lifting its head slightly to reveal an old, dark face. Hey, this little guy is really sensitive, the black-robed man chuckled softly and whispered, there are some things you can't touch yet, otherwise you'll have nowhere to go on this continent. Do Huang. Yunyun stood up, vigilantly watching the sudden Do Huang powerhouse. Threatening me. Jiang Cheng snorted coldly, you know, the thing I hate the most in my life is being threatened. Do you really think that the ancient powerful will come here? Upon hearing these words, Black Shadow's face paused, and she suddenly turned her head to look at Jiang Cheng. Even Xiao Suner didn't easily cover her cherry-red lips. How do you know? Who the hell are you? Jiang Cheng grabbed it with his bare hands, and Black Shadow didn't even have a chance to react, so he grabbed it directly in his palm. My name is Jiang Cheng, and I am a traveler who has traveled around the world. Ling Ying, who was regarded as the Emperor of Dou, had a pale face beside such a light-hearted gesture. Jiang Cheng drew out the blade beside him, which startled him, and smiled, saying, "A person who practices swordsmanship, when he gains its power, should look down upon the world. However, you're still a bit lacking in meaning." Jiang Cheng's fingers twitched slightly, and Ling Ying in front of him felt as if he had been hit by a truck. He flew backwards uncontrollably, breaking through the three walls of the Shao family and rushing out of sight. Ling Lao. Shao Suner was greatly shocked. Ling Lao's cultivation was in the 8-star Do Emperor, but he was so easily thrown out of the Shao family hall that he had no ability to resist. "Who is the person in front of me?" "Miss, don't panic. I will subdue you with virtue. If you don't make any small moves, I won't take action against you." Jiang Cheng just glanced at Shao Suner, his gaze once again fixed on Xiao Zhan. Xiao Zhan was also aware that this person's strength should not be underestimated. He quickly presented the jade pieces of the Shao family with both hands and said, "Senior, this is your jade piece." Jiang Cheng took the opportunity to open the box and nodded in satisfaction when he saw the Tuoshe ancient Emperor Jade lying quietly inside. "Thank you very much, Chief Shao. I'll say goodbye then. Master Yun, let's go." After speaking, Jiang Cheng turned his head gracefully, his left hand behind him, and the folding fan in his right palm slowly stirred up in a graceful and elegant manner. With her stunning appearance, any woman can't help but feel her heart racing when she sees it. Who exactly is this person? Above the void. Jiang Cheng turned his face to look at Yunyun, the leader of Yunlan sect, behind him and chuckled lightly, "What's wrong, Miss Yunyun? Is there something on your mind?" Yunyun pursed her lips and said, "I've never been clear, sir. What kind of realm are you in? Why can't that 8-star emperor hold out for less than a turn in your hands?" "Hee, whatever realm you want, that's it. I'm just a traveler. Traveling around the world and reading thousands of books is what I aspire to. If you don't mind, you can stay with me and focus on cultivation, and I will become a great treasure in the future." Yunyun said bitterly, "Senior, you're joking. I'm the leader of Yunlan sect. If I leave, won't my disciples disrupt their cultivation?" Jiang Cheng did not speak. Only he could control her path, but he would still give her some help. "One of my favorite women in my past life was Yunyun, the head of Yunlan sect, this silly girl. The sect was destroyed, the teacher was killed, and I wandered around with my disciple Nalan Yanran. In the end, I stayed in the flower sect, but was feared by her people. My life was full of ups and downs." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Nalan Yanran. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Nalan Yanran Gama Empire, Yunlan sect. As the largest force in the Gama Empire, the Yunlan sect has strict rules and a huge influence. The staff of the sect have cloud silver swords on the cuffs of their robes, which gives them unparalleled prestige in the Gama Empire. It is a place that countless young practitioners in the empire dream of joining. The patriarch has returned. A disciple of Yunlan sect pointed to the two people floating on the clouds and shouted loudly. The disciples around also cast envious gazes. If only they could fight and turn their wings. "See Lord." Yunyun nodded elegantly, then turned around and led Jiang Cheng to the main hall of Yunlan sect. At this time, several elders and deacons of Yunlan sect gathered in the hall, discussing how to make Nalan Yanran win the 3-year contract. Although the young master has outstanding talent, no one knows if Xiao Yan will have any opportunities, so it's better to be careful. When the disciples outside the door said that the sect leader had returned, several elders also stood up to welcome the woman whose appearance was almost suffocating. "Farewell to the sect leader." Yunyun said softly, "Let me introduce you to Mr. Jiang Cheng." Elder Yunling and several others lifted their heads and looked up and down at the young people who were above the fluctuation of fighting spirit. Each person's face showed a hint of surprise. They were called "Sir" by the sect leader. Is it because their strength is higher than that of the sect leader? Thinking of this, Elder Yunling and several others also bowed and said, I have seen Mr. Jiang Cheng. Nowadays, the patriarch calls him, Sir, and the elders of Yunlan sect naturally cannot continue to say anything, so they can only bow and bow. Jiang Cheng nodded, knowing that Yunling was a familiar person. The chief elder of Yunlan sect, a powerful Dowang. During the 3-year contract, he forcibly detained Xiao Yan on the grounds of Mo Cheng's murder, but failed to lead an attack on the Xiao family. As a result, Xiao Yan's father, Xiao Zhan, went missing, and the Xiao family was almost wiped out. Xiao Yan, in anger, used the Buddha Fury Lotus to kill the Xiao family. It can be said that the downfall of Yunlan sect is closely related to the stubborn actions of the elder Yunling. This person has a cunning personality and belongs to the category of revenge. Anyone who angers him will be relentlessly pursued by the Yunlan sect. Why don't you go pour tea? Yunyun angrily said. As the second in command of Yunlan sect, Yunlei quickly brewed a pot of hot tea and personally poured it for the sect leader, Mr. Jiang Cheng. Yunyun said gently, Sir, please. Thank you very much. Jiang Cheng responded and took a sip from his teacup. Although the taste was quite good, it was not inferior to the peach blossom wine he brewed himself. Elder Yunling shrugged his shoulders and took a step forward obediently. I wonder which power the master is from. Bold. Yunyun angrily rebuked, no one comes up and asks about the other person's power. You don't understand etiquette, do you? Yunling awkwardly scratched his head and said with some unmissable words, I'm just curious. Why would the sect leader be so polite to Mr. Jiang Cheng? Is it because the powerful Gama Empire has been hidden for many years? If that's the case, do you know the old leader of Yunlan sect, Yunshan? Yunyun frowned slightly and gritted her teeth, scolding, Yunling, you're so bold that you dare to call the teacher's name directly. Hurry up and step down. Yunling's face was solemn, and he had to figure out whether this person was hostile to Yunlan sect. The old sect leader recently told him that any stranger entering the sect must be carefully investigated. Otherwise, what they are doing between them is easily discovered, so anyone must ask clearly. This is the death order issued by the old patriarch. Elder Yunling can only go against the warning of the sect leader Yunyun and continue to inquire. Yunyun was clearly a bit unhappy. As a guest, Mr. Jiang Cheng, the elder Yunling, was so impolite. This is not his personality. Jiang Cheng took a sip of his tea and said, I am just a traveler who has traveled around the world, there is nothing to be afraid of. Elder Yunling's mouth twitched as he was about to ask something, only to find the sect leader's dark face. He was immediately frightened and dared not say anything more, leaving in frustration. I'm sorry sir, Yunyun said apologetically, Yunling didn't know the etiquette and collided with you. We hope for your understanding. Hee hee. Miss, I'm joking. I've been traveling the mainland for several years, and seeing so many people like this, I've long since given up. Jiang Cheng put down the teacup in his hand and turned to look around at the strong men in the hall. Everyone's strength was in the realm of Dowang, while at the back mountain of Yunlan sect, there were faint breath of 2 Dozong strong men. The strength ranges from 3 to 5 stars. It should be the old leader of Yunlan sect, Yunshan. And the other one, probably the Soul Palace protector, Wu Ying. Teacher, I heard you're back. At this moment, a crisp and pleasant voice sounded from outside the main hall. The heavy door was pushed open, and a handsome woman appeared in front of everyone. The woman was dressed in a wide-sleeved, tight-fitting moon-white robe that swayed to the ground. On her plump willow waist, she was tied with a light silver dress belt, perfectly showcasing her slender waist. The plump figure is extremely tempting, with 3,000 strands of green silk tied casually by a strand of blue silk, finally hanging down to her delicate buttocks. This woman is the young master of Yunlan sect and one of the founders of the 3-year contract, Nalan Yanran. Teacher Nalan Yanran coquettishly threw herself into Yunyun's arms, rubbing her head against the teacher's chest. Teacher, I miss you so much. Yunyun wore a hint of indulgence on her face and said gently, Yanran, you have passed the level. Several elders of Yunlan sect also withdrew from the main hall upon seeing this, giving the master and disciple a separate opportunity to get along. Nalan Yanran nodded obediently and said, I heard that the teacher has returned, so I couldn't wait to run over. Teacher, your ferocity has grown again. Yunyun's pretty face turned crimson as she pinched Nalan Yanran's cheek and said, Go aside, you've been teasing the teacher all day. Next time you do this again, I'll make you ponder on the wall for a month. Nalan Yanran spat out her cute little tongue and made a face, but it was only then that she saw a handsome boy sitting next to her, and was also attracted by Jiang Cheng's temperament for a moment. This was the first time she had seen such a gentle boy, and it couldn't help but touch her heartstrings. Yanran. Yunyun saw that Nalan Yanran was a bit lost in thought and instinctively asked, Yanran, what's wrong with you? Nalan Yanran, who had reacted, quickly stood up with her hands behind her and shyly said, It's okay. I wonder who this senior is. Yunyun introduced, This is Mr. Jiang Cheng, a friend of the teacher. Disciple Nalan Yanran, pay respects to Mr. Jiang Cheng. Nalan Yanran arched her hand and showed an extremely respectful attitude, making people unable to resist wanting to lift her delicate body. Jiang Cheng said, I've heard a lot about you. Ah. Nalan Yanran raised her eyebrows, Sir, do you know a younger generation? Nalan Yanran, the founder of the 3-year contract and the genius of divorce, must be known by the entire Gamma Empire. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The Shyness of Yun Yun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The Shyness of Yun Yun. Nalan Yanran couldn't help blushing and lowered her head in shame. She didn't expect this matter to have such a spreading ability. Even her teacher's friends knew about it. Don't worry, Sir is a kind and friendly person who won't provoke anger towards you. Yunyun was afraid that Yanran would feel a bit uneasy because of the other party's strength, so she reminded her that her husband was not the kind of person who only knew power and was obsessed with it. With the teacher's words, Nalan Yanran also put away her timid heart and threw herself into Yunyun's arms again, lying on her chest that could serve as a pillow. Jiang Cheng couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. He didn't see on the surface that Yun air was so valuable and could even be used as a pillow. If in the future thinking of this, Jiang Cheng couldn't help but cough twice. If they were to eavesdrop on him, he wouldn't be famous in the future. Sir, what's wrong? Yunyun asked in a busy voice. No problem, I just thought of something and accidentally choked on it. Jiang Cheng calmly responded to Yunyun. Yunyun didn't want to ask further when she saw the situation. She continued to caress the 3,000 green hairs in her arms, her face showing a spoiled expression. Jiang Cheng also knows the relationship between master and apprentice. On the surface, they look like master and apprentice, but they are like sisters behind the scenes. They spend most of their time together, even bathe and wipe their backs together. But Yunyun has no airs of being a teacher at all. For her, as long as Yanran can live a stable life, that's all. Everything else doesn't matter, there's a teacher present. A pot of tea quickly melted, and Jiang Cheng suddenly spoke up, Miss Yunyun, if nothing happens, I'll go back. There's still someone waiting for me at home. Upon hearing that Mr. Jiang Cheng was about to leave, Yunyun hurriedly said, Sir, you haven't had a meal yet. If you leave so soon, people would think that Yun Lanzong doesn't understand hospitality. As a guest, you should be treated as a guest of 9. If the master leaves, the teacher will feel sorry. Nalan Yanran could see the reluctance contained in the teacher's expression, and it was also a divine intervention to speak up and stop. Jiang Cheng nodded and said, Will this? Don't worry, sir. Our Yunlan sect treats guests with courtesy, so naturally we won't neglect you. Yunyun clapped her hands and waited at the door for a long time for 2 disciples to enter the main hall. They respectfully knelt on the ground and said, Master. Arrange for the kitchen to prepare food and drinks, treat with the highest etiquette, and remember not to neglect. Obey me. After receiving orders from the sect leader, the two disciples also quickly left the main hall and arranged for the kitchen to prepare the highest ceremonial banquet, to prepare the situation for the newly opened gentleman. And in the back mountain of Yunlan sect, Yunlang, who was the elder of Yunlan sect, also secretly came here. After confirming that no one was with him, he also entered a special space. At this moment, the white-haired man sitting under the big tree slowly opened his eyes and wore a hint of anger on his face, saying, "Yunling, how many times have I told you not to come in without my command? Are you itching?" Elder Yunling, Vino, knelt on the ground and respectfully said, "Senior Master, I have discovered something very important that offends your cultivation." "Oh." The white-haired man raised his eyebrows and said, "What's important?" The patriarch brought a man back. As soon as he said this, the white-haired man's expression clearly changed. He grabbed the neck of Elder Yunlang and said coldly, "This is still considered an important thing, Yun Shan. What's in your mind? Can't you make a dirty thing?" Yunlang, who was choked and feeling a bit suffocated, began to struggle. His face was blue and purple, but he still said intermittently, "Old Master. This person's identity is strange. Master calls him Sir. He should be a strong person above Dozong." Upon hearing this, Yun Shan finally let go of Yunlang, whose face and ears were flushed, and couldn't help but ask, "How do you know that the other party is in the Dozong realm?" Cough cough. Elder Yunling was coughing wildly, even his nose involuntarily flowing out, making him appear particularly miserable. It is obvious that Yun Shan had already set his heart on Yunling just now. If Yunling hadn't said the last words in time, he would have become a corpse by now. Yun Shan tidied up his white robe and said with a hint of coldness, "The top 10 giants of the Gama Empire cannot step into the realm of Dozong. Did they come from the mainland?" Yunling weakly replied, "I'm not sure. I think he's extremely dangerous. I can't let this guy stay in Yunlan sect, otherwise it's very likely to interfere with your plan." Yun Shan's expression was solemn. Therefore, his identity is unknown, and staying with Yunlan sect is not a clear decision. Thinking of this, Yun Shan first asked Yunling to leave, and he also met the Soul Hall protector, Wu Ying, who could break through the Do sect. Wuhufa transformed into a black mist and appeared in front of Yun Shan. Upon learning about this, he was quite surprised. There were only a few Dozong powerhouses in the northwest continent, except for the old guys in the Black Horn domain. But Yunling couldn't have known the Dozong of the Black Horn domain, so the newcomer must be a force from the mainland. Wuhu Fa decided to investigate the truth. Their plan for the Soul Palace cannot be interfered with, otherwise the Lord will blame him and he will not be able to afford it. That night, Yunlan sect arranged a banquet with the highest ceremony and welcomed Mr. Jiang Cheng to the sect. Over the years, Yunlanzong only entertained one Dozong strongman from the mainland of Zhongzhou once, and now there is such a large-scale banquet, which is naturally particularly surprising. Yunlei and others also got involved and exchanged cups with several elders, feeling very happy. Yunyun also put on a loose robe, and her graceful and voluptuous figure couldn't help but attract everyone's fierce gaze. But they only dare to YY in their hearts, and even dare not say anything excessive to the sect leader. If they provoke the sect leader, they don't know how to die. "Teacher, how did you put on this outfit? Don't you like it?" Nalan Yanran, who took care of the sect elders, also saw the teacher's flushed face and the special material sewn robe, and couldn't help but ask curiously. This set of clothes was given to her by Nalan Yanran, but because the legs of the clothes were too wide apart, Yunyun had never worn them for many years, and now she is wearing them at this time. Perhaps thinking of this, Nalan Yanran seemed to know something. With a ghostly smile on her face, Yunyun sat elegantly next to Jiang Cheng and poured him a glass of liquor brewed by Yunlan sect. Although it was not as good as peach blossom wine, it was also considered a precious treasure. Thank you very much. After Jiang Cheng finished his gratitude, he picked up his wine glass and drank it heartily. Drinking and reading were the most interesting things in life. Yunyun picked up her wine glass and drank it sideways. At the same time, as the elder of Yunlan sect, Mo Yunling also secretly ran over and sat in a chair, pretending that nothing had happened. End of this chapter.